Hey guys, and welcome. We certainly have some exciting news. Creative Assembly have just released their first blog on Immortal Empires. We have the release date, we have some key features that are going to be implemented into the game, as well as what the state of the game is going to be like on launch. So we're going to go over all the key points from the blog. You can find the full blog with all details, of course, on their website. But this is just going to be the key standout points to myself to bring to you guys in a nice manner. So up first, obviously, is going to be the release date. This is what everyone is excited about, and it's actually relatively earlier than I thought it was going to be. Everyone was predicting that September was going to be released. They instead have said that the beta version of this game mode will be released this August, which is pretty exciting stuff. I'm sure lots of you guys are excited to get your hands on it in August, and do not have to wait too much longer, particularly as a multiplayer player and caster. I'm very excited to have all the factions once and truly in the game. Now, this isn't going to be so much of two kind of just pushings together of the current maps of Mortal Empires and Warhammer 3. There's quite a bit more to it, and they go into a lot of detail in the blog of the complications that can indeed come in with, but also with all of the boons. So the big boons that I noticed are we're going to get 86 legendary lords playable in the game on release of this beta, which is pretty crazy stuff, and that number is only going to get higher. For you completionists out there, that is an absurd amount of content to devour. Good news as well for big Be'lakor lovers. He is now becoming an official legendary lord with his own faction. You'll be able to play him in Immortal Empires, which I personally am a big fan of. I think a lot of people are asking for that for quite some time. There's also going to be dedicated factions to a number of the older legendary lords who currently were unfortunately merged together, such as Grombrindal, Helmengorst, Volkmar the Grim. They get their own specific, banner, title, as well as some of their own mechanics, which is pretty exciting stuff, because a lot of them do feel a little bit bland having to play the same campaign as Thorgrim with Grombrindal. Now you'll get your own starting location, new mechanics, new ideas, a bit more of an identity. There's also a new starting location for 29 of the older legendary lords, which of course makes sense, moving them around the map, allowing you to experiment and face a couple of the Warhammer 3 factions hopefully as well. There's been a lot of improved personal faction mechanics specifically to the older lords and those ones who were initially kind of brought as a package, such as Grombrindal and Volkmar the Grim. Quite excitingly as well, there is going to be a new Sea Lanes feature, which is pretty damn exciting. So basically what this seems like it is, said from their blog, it allows armies to travel between distant lands and continents from one side of the map to the other without having to leapfrog them all the way across the map. In my opinion, this makes a lot of sense. A lot of the time, for example, if you're dwarves, you have zero chance of facing Dark Elves, for example. They're simply too far away, and not many people complete the campaign where they paint the entire map their color. It is simply too big, and this map's going to be even bigger than the previous ones. I think there was a similar mechanic maybe back in the day. I think in Total War Empire, maybe I'm wrong, but being able to transport from the far right side of the map to the far left-hand side, which is what this seems to be, is quite awesome indeed. Hopefully we'll get some more information on how this mechanic works in the coming days and weeks. They did say they're going to be releasing consistent content and updates about this process on the lead up to its announcement. Really good news as well is there's going to be new dynamic endgame scenarios as well as a mid to late game overall, which is really, really cool. I think a lot of people don't complete campaigns. They get quite stale. You get to a point where you're just overwhelming the enemy and steamrolling them, and it's a little bit boring. The initial part is where all the fun is. So the idea is going to be adding mid to late game challenges to attempt to overthrow the player, and they give a few examples here. So they say, where the player is so powerful there is little to no challenge left and less of a reason to complete the campaign. So they're going to be adding in a couple of scenarios such as greenskin invasions or resurgence of the undead as a few examples there, which is really cool stuff. I like that quite a bit. It's kind of like the Chaos Invasion on steroids. So rather than being the same every time though, they're randomized and they could happen in the mid game or the late game. It's certainly going to add quite a lot of replayability, I think, and a sandbox feel in general to this game. Hopefully you're going to be able to turn off and on those end games, or like pick and choose ones you like and dislike. I definitely hope that is the case. If not on launch, then maybe when they continue to develop and work on the game, because I think some people are going to like that, some aren't. So the ability to have it or not have it, I think would be really good indeed. And it looks like they're going to revamp victory conditions in general anyway across everyone. They're also doing big corruption reworks. Big fan of this. We've seen corruption change significantly in Warhammer 3. Looks like they're going to be applying that to the Warhammer 2 factions as well. And good news as well for you people with friends out there is it is 8-player multiplayer campaigns, which is really awesome. And I believe only the host needs to have all 3 games to be able to do Immortal Empires. If you just have Warhammer 3, you can hop on and play, but obviously you can only play the Warhammer 3 stuff, which makes sense. So lots of cool stuff there, lots of good news. They have also released a load of information that they are calling it a beta, and the reason that they're doing that is it's such a large undertaking. There's quite a few problems with molding games together. It's not quite as simple as porting Game 2 into Game 3. You can ask a lot of the modding community who are having troubles currently putting mods into Warhammer 3 from number 2. They did put some pretty big standouts, such as lighting is quite more advanced in Warhammer 3, so they have to update all the Warhammer 2 maps, as well as the campaign map and so on, as well as a UI, character models, VFX, audio, general game balance, all this kind of stuff does need to be changed as it goes in. And they even state that corruption is going to be a bit of a problem, I assume, or quite tricky to make kind of work and balance due to the changes from number 2 and number 3. So what can we expect on day 1 of Immortal Empires? Well, when it comes to August, what they're looking at to have out at that time is the complete content in terms of race, factions, legendary lords, and geography, and all the extra features and stuff that we've already gone over today. So you will be able to play every single lord, do every single campaign, have the entire map, and have all these new features on launch. That seems to be their aim. They will be aware that there will most likely be some visual and technical bugs, and they will be providing a issue list, which of like known bugs and stuff that they are working on, which, you know, a lot of people don't like this type of content where they release it a little bit early. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of it, as it allows us as a community to help mold the game and to give feedback and all that good stuff. And at the same time, I'm sure a undertaking this large is going to be a lot of bugs and so on regardless. So the fact we're able to almost playtest it is good news. And they are saying they're looking to support this game for years, not kind of like months or weeks or anything like that. This is almost the start of a multiple year-long project where they're going to be releasing content in a similar way they did to Warhammer 2. So pretty awesome stuff. They also do mention at the bottom of the blog post they're really looking for quite a lot of feedback. They link to their subreddit as well as their Discords, where you can give your impressions on balance, things you think should change, and whatnot. And I really do think in recent times, CA have been pretty damn good actually of taking constructive criticism and taking it on the chin and then improving their game, which not a lot of games companies do. So I'm pretty happy they're doing that. Make sure, guys, if you are going to do feedback to make it constructive criticism, don't start like personally attacking people who work at companies and stuff. I really hate it, and it kind of makes me, I don't know, I get really annoyed when people do it as if it's, if people do it for my kind of content as well, and I can understand how frustrating it can be. But constructive criticism is great. Likewise, let them know what you like about the game, and hopefully they can push that stuff forward as well. So this is going to be phase 1 apparently, and they're looking to push it more and more into the future. What do you guys think of this blog post? There's a bucket more details. This is more of a light skim read of the stuff and key points. But if you guys want to delve into it with more detail, there is a link to their website. Probably I'll leave a link to their website down in the description, and you guys can check it out. But what do you guys think of these key points? Honestly, all round, I think it's pretty promising. I'm very eager to see how these sea lanes work, as well as just the balance in general on multiplayer. But for the most part, I think it's pretty positive stuff, and it's got me relatively excited for the future. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a big fat juicy thumbs up. It really helps feed the Great Dark Army. And subscribe if you're new around here and want to see more content in the future. We are dangerously close to the 10,000 subscriber mark. And did August meet your expectations, or were you expecting it sooner, later? Let me know. Until next time, guys, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.